Hello everyone. Today I want to explain to you the instinctive aiming. But before I begin, I want to ask you to active the subtitle below your screen because my English is really bad, I know. And for make sure you understand very well what I want to tell you, please active the subtitle below your screen. Okay. Today the video is on, I want to explain you the instinctive aiming. You have many ways to shoot with a bow without bow sight. Okay? Many people use a different trick for this. But you have only one way to do in true and real instinctive aiming. Okay? I explain to you. The first I explain you the strand way to aim without both sides, and in the end I explain you the true way to do instinctively. Okay, the first way you can use, or many people use, it's aiming with the point of the arrow. Okay, take this way, the standard string, the standard finger on the string, there. Okay, and the people take the anchor point and take the point of arrow to to aim on the target. Okay, target paper or target animal. Okay, you take the point and you place the point below or in the target or over the target. When you are close, you take your anchor and place the point of the arrow below your target. Okay, and when maybe at 10 yards, 10 meter, and maybe at 20 meter, okay, you put the arrow directly in the center of your target, and in 30 meter you place your arrow over the target. Okay, and you practice this. You begin by yourself, close, and you find the correct place to place your arrow to your target, below, over, or in the center. Okay, with the practice you know where to place your arrow for hit the good place. For our paper it's not the same place because we have the strands behind the eyes and the corner of the mouth. And for people who have long face, the place of placing of the arrow, where you place your arrow on the target is not the same. And if you have a long arrow or small arrow, you don't have the same leg of arrow. This is change. Okay. For close distance, take your anchor point and put under. Long distance, around 20 yards, 20 meter, directly in the center of your target. And if you are long distance, very long distance, maybe 30 meter or 40 meter, you put the arrow over the target. And by the practice, you find your point of aiming. Okay, your place your point. You place your point below for close, in the target when you are long distance, and over the target when you very long distance. Okay, this is for this method. This is a gap shooting. Okay, gap shooting. Take your arrow like this, and you take your anchor point and place the point of arrow below, in the target, over. Okay, this is the gap shooting. You have another way for more precision. Many shooters use with a bow without bow sight. This is a string walking. String walking, you place the point of arrow in the target all the time in the center of your target. It's the difference between the post gap. Where you move on the string. Why? Because the string walking. Okay? En français, in French is pianotage. Piano, pianotage. Okay? In English, it's string walking, like that. You put two fingers under, not over, not a finger over, two fingers under, and you move your finger on the string at different distance, like that. Okay? Here, or maybe here for another distance. But you take all the time the point of your arrow in the center of your target. Okay? Here, I am in the center of the target. Here, I am in the center of the target. Here too, I am in the center of the target with my point. Okay? And for do this, you can find in the store, a 3-bow store, a 3-pro shop, the finger tab for do this easily. Some people check how many loop of the shoving here, but the easy way is with the tab made for this job, for this string walking. I show you. The tab have many number here, okay? On the comme ça, okay, and then many under here, and you put the finger and the tab under the knot, and you see the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and you choice with the process you know this the number 4 for maybe 10 yard or 20 yard, whatever, and you put your finger here, your nail of your finger or your finger here on the number 4 or 5 or 6, whatever, and you drop the finger just at this place, and when you draw your string, you keep same place, and you take your anchor point to all the time the same anchor point, and all the time you put the arrow, the point of the arrow on the center of the target. Okay, you move. I explain you again. You have a tab with number for string walking. Okay, the tab specially made for string walking. You put the tab under. You process before, and you try the different number here, and you know what the number you need to choose to the distance you have to shoot. Okay, tab here, add many number, put the number 7 or 8 in yard, whatever, with the thumb, and drop my finger where is I place my thumb, the number, and you know this number is for the distance you choose. The distance you know. Stay in the string, the same place, and make your drop. Take your anchor point, take your anchor point all the time in the same place, and put the point of the arrow in the center of the target. Okay? This is a string walking method. When you use this method, this type of aiming, you need all the time to keep your bow vertically straight, okay? Straight line, like that. Show you. For gap shooting or for string walking, all the time you need to take your bow in straight line, vertically straight line. You don't do like that or like that, because all your adjustment don't work. Okay? All the time you need, and you do like this, vertical line, straight line, vertical line. Okay? This is for post gap shooting, and this is for string walking. When you use the string walking or gap shooting for aiming, you need to know the distance between you and the target. You need to know the distance. Okay, number 2 for string walking, number 4, number 5, whatever. And when you take your anchor point for gap shooting, you need to know below is 10 yards, on the target is the 15 or 20 yards, over is okay. You understand. You need to know the distance between you and the target. And you have the other way for do the some people, some amateur use the ROS, the point, the ROS for do the aiming. Put the point of the ROS on the target at the left or at the right for do the sight. To use like a sight, both sides, or use the shell. Put the shell on there and know the distance for the shell each time, like the post gap shooting. Or use some different mark on inside the window. Okay? This is again, you need to know the distance between you and the target, and you need to keep your bow all the time vertically in straight line. Okay. Now, it's very important to take your bow like that, straight line. And now I explain you the real instinctive shooting. Many people take with gap shooting or string walking and say, I shoot instinctively. No. In instinctive shooting, the real aiming in instinctive shooting use the peripheral vision. The peripheral vision is when I look at the cam scope for video, I look on the cam, but I see the floor, I see the bow, my bow, I see the arrow on my bow, I see all the tools around me. This is the peripheral vision. The peripheral vision, we use this peripheral vision all the day. When this example, when you walk on the street, on the sidewalk, and you want to cross the street, and you have the sidewalk on the other side, you have the post on the other side, and you go to cross the street. You go and walk, and you look at one time at the side of the wall, you look at one time or two times at the post, okay, and now you look at, you go to the people, on the other side of the street. You walk. When you arrive at the sidewalk, you don't look at the sidewalk and you don't look at the post. You see with your peripheral vision the sidewalk. You see the post. You walk, and when you are on the sidewalk, you up there, raise your foot and put your foot on the sidewalk. And you don't touch around to see the post. You see with your peripheral vision the post. Okay. The same thing when you go in the stair with the curve in the stair. Okay. You go on the second floor of your house with a stair with a curve. You go on the stair and you look in what time on the stair. You see all the steps, and you go and you run on the step and in the stair, and you go on second floor to do in one motion. You run on the stair, take the curve, and you don't look at each step, and you don't look the curve. No. You look where you go, and the peripheral vision, your peripheral vision, do the job. See all around you what you don't hit. Okay. If you close your eyes before you run in the stair. If you run, close your eyes and try to go rise the stair and run the stair with the curve. Probably you miss some step and drop. Okay. The peripheral vision use it all the day. The animal use it too, and since thousands of years. Okay. This is natural. This is an instinctive motion. This is an instinctive action of the brain. In instinctive shooting, the same way. You don't need to know the distance. When you come to shoot your arrow, you have shoot some arrow before, try send some distance. When you take your arrow you take your bow to do an instinctive shooting, you do like that. I show you and explain to you. When you shoot with a bow in instinctive shooting, in real instinctive shooting, your brain instinctively use your peripheral vision to do the aiming, to do the aiming. You know? Your brain instinctively. This is where is the instinctive. The instinctive. Your brain instinctively, since thousands of years, use your peripheral vision to do the aiming. Okay? Like when you cross the street, or like you run the stair. Okay? I do instinctive shooting. Really, I let my peripheral vision work. You begin by take your position, okay? Take your anchor point. Look at only the center of your target. And you see clearly the line, the straight line of your arrow to the target. You see clearly. You have two eyes open, the two eyes open. Take your anchor point. You see clearly with two eyes open. You look only on the center of your target. You see clearly the straight line with the arrow to the target. Okay? You don't need to check the point or whatever. And in the same time, you have left and right for the straight line to the target, and for the distance, you shoot some arrow, and your brain use again your peripheral vision. You shoot some arrow, and after shoot some arrow, your brain know what the angle you need to do to place the arrow at different distance. You know, you have at 10 yard, 7 yard, 12 yard. Okay, meter. Okay, take the anchor point. Okay, you see the straight line to your target, the arrow in the straight line to your target. Move over or down. You have to do some shoot before. And your brain know what you do to the angle, how to place your arrow, what the angle to place your arrow to the shoot in the center of the target. Okay. I made the motion again. Okay. On the target. I see the center. I look at the center of the target. I see my arrow straight line with the target. Okay. And I raise my arm or drop my arm to have to take the angle of my brain. Remember. Okay. And with this real instinctive aiming shooting, real instinctive aiming, you don't need to keep your bow straight line like that, like you do with string working and gap shooting or other sighting. You can take your bow like that, take your bow like that, take your bow like that. It's the same thing all the time. You can drop, shoot under, and okay, because your brain knows the angle to place your arrow. Okay, and you see all the time the straight line of your arrow. You don't. It's impossible to do with string walking. You can put your bow like that in string walking or gap shooting. Okay, but you can do with real instinctive shooting with peripheral vision. Okay, the true instinctive shooter, real aiming, peripheral vision. Place your bow like that, and you have the arrow in straight line, which is like that, under your eyes. It's why 99% people with shooting, with aim, instinctive aiming, place your bow like that to have the arrow under the eyes. Okay, look only the center of the target, and the peripheral vision do the job. Okay. Okay. The very important thing in this, you're learning the instinctive shooting, aiming. You need to use a light bondage bow, the bow around 15 pounds or 20 pounds, not a heavy bow, because you don't let the time at your peripheral vision do the job. Let the time to brain do the job. With a light bow, 15 pounds, 20 pounds, you can take your time. Okay, take my anchor point, and I see the straight line on the arrow. I see the straight line of the arrow. and I let to my peripheral vision to do the job. If you have a TV bow in your eye, you don't not able to do this thing correctly. It's too easy to learn, and when you touch the corner of the mount, you snap shoot. Okay, before sometimes you snap shoot 1 inch or 2 inch before you take your anchor point because the bow is too heavy. When you are habitué, when you feel good, your peripheral vision, your real instinctive shooting, aiming, now you can take a bow with more fun and more heavy. Okay, but when you learn this, and give the chance to your brain and your peripheral vision to do the job, take a light bow to 15, 20, 18 pounds, take this, take my anchor point. Oh, it's very easy. I see the straight line of my arrow directly on the good to the target, and I can use my peripheral vision. Okay, raise the angle of my arrow, and with the practice. And you don't know to know the distance. Don't know to know the distance because it's your peripheral vision do the job. Okay, when you have a ball in the hand and you want to shoot the ball on the plate. Okay, you don't need to take the ball and 7 meters, 10 meters, 7 yard, 10 yard. Okay, no. You take the ball. No. Okay, your peripheral vision know, and your muscle know how to do the job. The same thing in instinctive shooting, the real instinctive shooting with peripheral vision. That your brain do the job since thousands of years. The brain instinctively, very instinctively, use the peripheral vision to do the aiming. Okay, instinctively, your brain instinctively use your peripheral vision to do the aiming. You don't know to know the distance. You don't know to keep your bow straight. Your peripheral vision do the job. Okay, I hope you understand what I try to tell you. Don't miss to activate the subtitle below your screen to make sure to understand what I tell you. Okay, I hope you like this video. You can subscribe to my channel. You can for know when I will do another video. And I tell you, good practice, and good aiming.